I normally, and out of my appreciation of some of the regular viewers, would avoid this, but I want to. Well, here, let's go straight to this because I feel like I haven't seen any of this. I jump in this.
Donald J. Trump gets elected in November on the back of this amazing coalition, unprecedented coalition, different parts of American society. You never thought would have anything in common. Trump paints a picture that makes it really obvious that the old structure, left versus right, Democrat versus Republican, is basically BS. And
sorry, did you get a fever blister from your trip to the truck stop during that time? You told your wife that you saw a demon. What's my scrap with Kyle? Because he was a coin flipper. That was the thing. He was one of these people who said, I don't have a big problem with him and Crystal Ball like that. I mean, both of them are sort of fine, but they're very close to that. Like, I mean, there's not that much difference between the two at a certain point if you really think about it, because they're all beholden to blah, blah, blah. So that was the problem. And there was obviously a huge difference. So anytime they're like, I can't believe what's going on, the reason they're saying that and the way they're saying it is because they actually believed that what they were saying in theory, or they have to act like they did. So, so Tucker's got the herp, and you know what? In his defense, everyone's lip might actually do that whenever Steve Bannon enters the room. All the flowers also die.
a control device, I think. This is my interpretation anyway.
Hey, look at all the gear and flags and T-stands in the back, whatever. So this is yet another like poser set that they have.
Okay. So he creates this brand new coalition. New York Times writes almost nothing about it because it's such a massive threat. But this coalition, which you described earlier and more precisely than anybody by far, is the defining fact of American politics. And it kind of feels like it's being blown up over this war in Iran.
Actually, it's not. I'm not interested in making Tucker Carlson feel better, but it's not being blown up over this. You guys are just having to realize that this is exactly what you voted for, and you had selective hearing. Every time you didn't like what Trump was saying, right? You would shove two frozen turds in your ears and go la 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 until the Trump Plaza Gaza shit passed, and then go back to he's the peacemaker.
That's my observation. Correct me.
Well, I think if you look at the three planks, stop the forever wars.
Why didn't he stop Afghanistan? Why did Biden have to do it? Why did he punt it? Why didn't he do it right away? What was going to be the difference? What's the difference between when we left, when Biden was in office, and when the first year of Trump? What's the difference? What difference was made in those years when he ran on getting us out of Afghanistan? He ran on this in the first fucking place. What was the difference?
Seal the border and deport the illegal alien, invaders.
Obviously not the people who work at Mar-a-Lago or Doral or Bedminster or any of his hotels or any of his buddies' hotels or any of his buddies' farms or meat packing plants or food prep plants or any of that, obviously.
Redo the commercial relationships in the world around trade deals and bring high value-added manufacturing jobs back here.
Oh, you mean like the CHIPS Act?
They're trying to shut all three down, right?
Yeah.
But the one that they...
Who the fuck is they? Trump is egging all these things. Fuck you with this whole, like, they're trying to shut him down. He's a fuck up. Even if he really did these things, which I would argue is debatable, he's terrible at everything. So one of the worst things you could do, Steve Bannon and Tucker Carlson, is take the thing you give a shit about. No more foreign wars. We've got to, end the income tax, or we've got to cut spending and save the deficit, and take that very serious thing that you allegedly fucking believe and hand it to someone that's a dipshit on the level of Donald Trump. If you actually gave a fuck about these things, you would never hand them over to that. Are you going to let him watch your kid for the night? Are you going to let him drive your car? Of course not. So why would you think he would, any issue that was crucial, that he would do anything with it except fuck it up?
The one that they're obsessed with the most, which I find strange, is the forever wars. They've got to be in the forever wars, and particularly in the Middle East.
Who's they, motherfucker? Russia invaded Ukraine. If you don't want to back Israel after October 7th, say so, big boy, because I doubt it. I doubt it. He didn't pull our soldiers out of Syria in his first term. He moved them to Saudi Arabia so they could be human shields in front of processing plants because he thought the Houthis would be too afraid to kill Americans. So he used them as shields for MBS's oil reserves so he could keep the price of oil low.
I mean, this is what, and I'm a big supporter of Israel.
Yes.
And I'm telling people, hey, if we get sucked into this war, which inexorably looks like it's going to happen on the combat side, it's going to not just blow up the coalition, it's also going to thwart what we're doing with the most important thing, which is the deportation of the illegal alien invaders that are here. If we don't do that.
Why? Why? What, you think this could be like Iraq? Or they're just going to start rounding up National Guards people and sending them over there for like long tours in fucking Iran?
We don't have a country. And you just see right now, they're doubling, tripling out. This is actually potentially a real civil war in our biggest cities. And President
No, it's not.
Trump has to have our backing. So, and this came out of nowhere.
By the way, tell me again how Jan 6 was a love fest.
I mean, the trade deals you saw, he put together Liberation Day, but they've been thinking about it a long time. I mean, Trump's been talking about this since Lou Dobbs back in the 90s. He lays that out there. It's very sophisticated. He's got Scott.
It's not sophisticated at all. It's bullshit. He doesn't know how any of it's going. He just backs away from it. Trump always chickens out is an actual way that people are timing their trades on Wall Street right now. They're called taco trades. It didn't even come from like the punditry class. It came from Wall Street.
Besant running around with Lutnick. They're trying to make these deals. He sealed the border already in the first 60 days. Now we're really going down and actually having the deportation. See the fight? And then
no, you're not. No, you aren't. You find dozens of fucking people. The vast majority of them don't have any criminal record, nor would they. You're pulling moms out of meatpacking plants. This isn't what this is. Well, I mean, this is what they voted for, but they're all like, "This is not what I voted for." Yeah, it was.
Out of nowhere comes a war with Persia. It's like a shooting war with Persia, a massive shooting war with Persia. It's like, how did this happen? And that's
because Donald Trump is a fuck up. I don't know. Fish stinks from the head. You're the one who thinks he's the king. Ask him.
I've been up as a defender of Israel and someone that's very pro-Israel. I've been saying, hey, this is going to be the end of Israel because of the way these decisions have been made. And you have, I think, shockingly today early when we had you on the show, you bring up a point that we have to address, which I think is the thing itself.
Soap is the enemy? Sorry, go ahead.
What is it about this apparatus? When you have a coalition that's like 1932 that's coming together, like Roosevelt had Harvard professors and crackers and Democrats and ranchers out west and big city bosses and the Irish and the Italians, and you put it all together and they juggled it. And
they got Brooklyn, Butte, Montana, Birmingham, Alabama, and they're all on the same side. How did that happen?
And they govern literally
because it was post-World War I?
Almost all the way to Trump. You know, Reagan took out part of it, Newt Gingrich took out part of it, but it was 50, 60, 70 years. We have the same ability. We have hardscrabble
not anymore.
Hispanics on the Rio Grande Valley,
yes.
South Texas. We have tech bros. We have, economic
well, you used to.
Nationalists. We have economic populists.
Yeah, a year ago, Hal, did they think they'd be talking about this? No, Paul. Do you think, honestly, that's one of the most beautiful things when watching these things is that is imagining them if you could go back in a time machine like to November and go, you want to watch a clip of what you're going to be talking about in June? And they'd be like, yeah, fuck yeah. And then they'd watch this and go, what happened? What is happening? Can I change it? Nah, it's already happened. If you do anything, you'll just exit this timeline and go off into your own. But this is how Trump is going forward. You'll die if you change anything. That's how you'll lead the timeline.
We have people that want to stop their forever wars. There's 3 planks. And right at the beginning of it, and it's on the 10th anniversary of coming down the Golden Escalator. That was 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's almost like, where's our favorite phrase that sums up basically everything about Trump's campaign versus his rhetoric versus his presidency.
That was just bullshit, Joel.
Mm-hmm.
Sunday. And I tell people, as many triumphs and tragedies, victories and defeats, good days and horrible days,
Mostly
when
horrible.
we're winning and sometimes we're losing,
Most of the time you're losing.
those 10
Ironically enough.
years of everything that's gone on, it's just the preamble for where we are today on the convergence of these crises. And now, all of a sudden, a shooting war where they're taking the Nimitz battle group out of the South China Sea and sending 3 carrier battle groups now to the North Arabian Sea, Red Sea, plus Arleigh Burke destroyers and a whole fleet in the Eastern Mediterranean. We're
Do you think they'll ever realize? Do you think it'll ever occur to them that this is a giant bullshit machine and these guys have been keeping the hoses attached the entire time? That they're the mechanics that keep the bullshit machine rolling, and do you think they'll ever be able to face that fact? Because that's your only way out of this situation, is to go, oh fuck, I was living a lie, and this was all horseshit, and I owe everyone an apology. They don't have the moral strength for it, and psychologically, their ego just won't let them do it.
prepping for a major shooting war. And how did it happen? I think what's most shocking is what you said. Hey, it was like Iraq. You're inexorably just drawn in decisions kind of just...
No. There's no inexorably. Nothing fucking magic happens. You are presented with options and circumstances, and you are not drawn into it. You do not have to be drawn into it. You can specifically say, we will not be drawn into this. We will defend Israel to this point, but we will not engage externally on other countries, period, full stop. As long as we are not struck, which is true anyways all the time and shouldn't go without saying.
happen. It's like, what's happened
Hi, Mark P.
over the last 72 hours? How did we even get to this point? How did this actually happen? Who made these decisions?
Donald Trump, you, Tucker Carlson, everybody who got him elected.
When we had...
Fuck you. Seriously, like, why would... this is... And again, I was about to say, why would we give a shit? Well, this isn't aimed at us. This is them cleaning up with MAGA.
the intel out there that this was not like a thing. This was something that was going to happen a year or two from now.
Yes.
Bibi admitted to Brett Baer on Sunday night. And so the question before us is not simply the Israel-Persia situation, is what the fuck is going on in this city? That
Let's see. What exactly is going on? A gullible cult has followed the master to the mountaintop, as he has promised that he will levitate off the earth and they will all be healed of their sicknesses and they're all going to catch a comet and fly away. And the clock has been ticking for a couple of days now. You've run out of snacks. Your feet are starting to hurt, and it's a long walk back down the mountain. That's what the fuck is going on in this town. It ain't the town, dummy. It's not the town. It's you.
just drives the
cliff.
city, whether you're Barack Obama or Donald Trump. And if we don't sort it...
Nope. And you notice he has to say Barack Obama or Donald Trump, because if he says Biden, you have to face the fact that as much as they don't like it or they mock it, Biden got us out of Afghanistan. End of fucking story. And there are no, American boots on the ground in Ukraine, no matter what these fuckers say. And we didn't attack. This is not us backing Ukraine attacking Russia. Russia attacked them. We backed the victim in this situation.
out now. I mean right now. That's what we have to have a throwdown. We have to name names. We have to expose it.
Yes, do that. Attack your own. Primaries. Start talking primaries.
If we don't throw it out now, throw down now in the summer of 2025, we're not going to have a country.
Well, you kind of don't. I don't know what the fuck you think America is supposed to be, but it ain't this.
Forget the midterms. Forget the
Yeah, stupid midterms.
next election. Still, we have to have this. What the CIA is, what happened in Ukraine,
The CIA. Jesus Christ. Why'd you start talking about MK Ultra? This is all about because we didn't go to the moon.
CIA has done, what DNI is doing, what the Justice Department, what the FBI,
No. Hey, asshole. You don't get to name the fucking departments. You get to say Pam Bondi, Tulsi Gabbard. You get to say Kash Patel and Bongholio. You get to say Donald John Trump, because that's who runs shit right now. It's not the department's fault. They're not on autopilot.
CIA and the Pentagon. Because right now,
It's not, yeah, no. Pete Hegseth, motherfucker. Say his name. Stop chickening out. You fucking, like, these armchair warriors, they're all talk like tip of the spear, armor-piercing shell. This motherfucker uses all this military language all of a sudden. And then when it comes time to it, he won't name names in Trump's cabinet because he's so much of a fucking pussy. He's afraid to catch hell from these people because they all have him on speed dial.
we only have a tenuous grip on those. We have 2 people at the FBI, Kash and Bongino. We got a
And both of them think that Epstein hung himself
handful of people
with no help.
over at the Justice Department in a massive
Pam Bondi runs the place. Fuck you.
30-some person or 15,000, 20,000 person operation. We have 3 or 4 people at DNI with 17 agencies. We're putting a couple of people in there. At the Pentagon, we got Pete and a handful of guys. And every time a guy steps up or the team steps up to say they want to stop the forever wars, they're turfed out. He's lost 10 people.
No. Oh, no. Say that again. Say that
Team
again.
steps up to say they want to stop the forever wars. They're turfed out. He's lost 10 people.
He hasn't lost anybody. This drunk, shaggy motherfucker fired his own bros that he rolled in there. These are not deep state operatives who've been working, on that side of the argument for a long fucking time. This asshole these are Hegseth's buddies. He hung them out to dry. The deep state didn't broom him. Hegseth did it himself. He fired them to cover for his ass. What are you talking about, Mike Pillow? And the fact that he lost money and it's going to cost him $2.3 million to pay back the Dominion employee that he slandered? I hope they can get it, and he doesn't try to pill in, patent fill, like he doesn't try to pay them in patented fill.
Since we've even got there. And every time Bridge Colby tries to do something, Bridge Colby's on the front page of that he's an appeaser. So my point is that now we're getting down to it. With all these converging crises, we have an apparatus that
An apparatus.
reports to Wall Street, to foreign investors, to Silicon Valley,
Oh, you mean Don Jr. and Eric?
in business with the Chinese Communist Party.
Oh, Vance. Sorry, Vance. You were saying Vance. I didn't realize that. Yeah, it was definitely Vance.
Couch humping, jumping.
That's right. VP Vance.
Take it higher, can't retreat. Feel the rhythm, can't deny. Couch humping.
I like wood, deeper and longer.
Okay.
That's running the deal, and now's the time if we don't lance the bowl over this.
Lance the bull? Lance the boil. Boil. A bull is an animal. A boil is, well, that.
This country, you're not going to, if you can't turn around with Trump, the Trump team he has, people like you,
Turn it around? They did, motherfucker. They did turn it around. Holy shit. Biden, lowest unemployment and longest stretch of it in fucking 60 years. The economy was going up, and there was no reason why it had to go. Rising wages, all that kind of stuff. We had gotten out of Afghanistan. We weren't getting into other stuff. We were supporting Ukraine, but we weren't actively involved in that fight any fucking where. When the same thing happened with Israel, we supported them to make sure they didn't get hit, but we didn't fire into any place, and it was a limited, incursion regardless. And Biden's thing was that he was limiting what stuff could go to Netanyahu, what they could use. They were putting rules of engagement, and when Trump came in, he turned it around. He was like, "Fuck it, the Gazans are a cancer. You gotta get rid of the problem quickly." Talk about lancing a boil. That's how he talked about the fucking Gazans. And you don't think the fact that the guy who wrecked the Iran deal, who wants to make a new one, which God knows why they would trust him to keep it, the same guy that said we got to wipe out the Gazans and we got to broom them the fuck out of there, basically talking openly about ethnic cleansing, the people that Iran uses as a proxy, much less the citizens, that somehow this deal is going to fucking happen. You want to talk about who turned everything around? It was Trump. This is what turned around looks like.
They're blessed to have these apparatuses. If we can't do this now, it's not going to get done. And so that's why, to me, it's gone of everything we were doing, stopping the forever wars, redoing the commercial relationship with China to bring jobs back, and sealing the border and sending home deporting 10 million, which is going to be massive, almost like
Yeah, especially when there's only 8.9 million here max.
civil war in these big cities. Of all of those, and I've always said the deportation is the most, to get our sovereignty back, the war we have to have now, the throwdown we have to have now is with the deep state. And we can't, I think we've looked away too often. We just kind of kicking the can down the road. And if we can't do it now with Trump, it's not going to get done.
It does feel like
A boil? Sorry, a fever blister.
Fox News is playing, and I never criticize Fox because they were so kind to me, but they are playing a central role in the propaganda operation here.
No shit.
It feels like.
It does? Why would you ever think? I mean,
You need three things. You need people.
you do.
You need
Let's go back to
information.
the Iraq
And you need people with information.
You what? I'm sorry?
You need three things. You need people, you need information, and you need people with information.
Ah, I see.
I mean, you were there, you saw it. Look at the Iraq War.
Saw it. He did it, dummy. Still doing it. I mean, there's an argument that that Rupert Murdoch, more of his money comes from China than from Russia, and that was the split.
I promoted the Iraq
When
War.
knowing, because of the information you were giving, knowingly what they did. If you go back and look at Iraq,
Also, by the way, just because you were a fuck up and you bought a lie doesn't mean everything after is a lie and you just automatically get to doubt shit. If you were wrong about the last one, maybe you're wrong about this one too. Maybe this one's completely justified. This is an actual circumstance and you were baited into the other one because you were a dough-headed motherfucker, and now you're being baited against it in the same way because you want to excuse the fact that you were a fuck up before by just being a skeptic going forward, because that's always an easy fallback, because you can always go, well, I was just for peace the whole time.
it's not like these things are successful. They're not successful.
Tell that to the South Koreans.
They're unsuccessful. They can't be successful because, as Lincoln told us, what you need is
Lincoln? Oh, right. Sorry. You guys think the Civil War was a mistake.
popular opinion to have your back. And we don't do enough about educating the American people on what reality is. In fact, they give them the exact opposite. That's why it's all, that's what,
Exactly. So, like, the reality is this guy has a festering sore on his face, and the other guy looks like a festering sore. Coincidence? I think not.
this is, the rise of Trump is from two things. The rise of Trump is from the failed
A wave of moron across the entire country, like a tidal wave of moronic, self-involved, social media-led bullshit.
Iraq war and from the 2008 financial collapse.
Exactly.
You had Buchanan before that. We had Perot before that. We had even Reagan for some populism nationalism. You had these sprouts. You could see people were trying to get there, but they couldn't. It was those two cataclysmic events, right? An epic failed war, right? That we were lied to about everything, the reason we went in. Because remember,
Hey, no, remember nothing. While he was lying about it, I was marching against it. And a lot of people that watch my show, especially the non-maggots and high maggots, where it's always nice to have trolls here in the audience, because you motherfuckers are always trying to, scoop up behind Trump and protect him from the fact that he was best friends with Jeffrey Epstein for 25 years. And the only other friend he ever had besides Jeffrey Epstein that was a true friend was Roy Cohn. Both guys pedophiles. Weird. Anyways, figure that out for yourself. But in the interim, if I may, I was marching against it. All of us were like, nah, I don't think they have weapons of mass destruction. This sounds like bullshit. This is garbage. Fuck this. Hold on. Right? Am I I don't think I'm alone, right? I knew it was bullshit. You guys knew it was bullshit. There were some people who were like, parts of it might be scary. We obviously know he had chemical weapons because Don fucking Rumsfeld sold it to him. Good God. But I thought he would be my savior. Yeah. oh, he was just going to be the best ever guy ever in the whole world.
At first, the American people supported it, given the information
Yes.
they were given. Then later,
Yes.
they realized that, hey, not just was the initial predicate for this a lie, all the updates were kind of a lie, right? All the updates were a lie. We really weren't winning, right? Until we sent General Kelly to the Anbar province to be the toughest tribe, it took forever. And 8,000 dead, 50,000 wounded.
Russia has lost 1 million soldiers. And you guys still think they're winning. Fuck off.
$9 trillion,
Oh, thank you so much for the gifted subs, JD Christie.
$2 trillion or $7 trillion in Iraq and $2 trillion in Afghanistan.
Right, so I don't want to hear shit about Ukraine. We're getting that on the cheap.
You're just lied about the entire time. That's what's happening here.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. And again, just because you were gullible last time doesn't mean we should trust you this time. Why am I supposed to believe that you've suddenly come to, that because you're now an isolationist, that means that you've come around? I think it's because you're trying to protect yourself from making that mistake ever again, so you just instantly write off everything.
Not being dealt with straight. And I'm just saying that on the information that's put out, the Israeli position on this has changed 3 or 4 times.
Because of the circumstance?
First, it was the nuclear bomb, the processing of everything. There was going to be something like last weekend. You had to go now. You had to go on Thursday night. It had to happen.
No, they didn't go because it was going to happen by the fucking weekend. It's not that kind of thing. They had 60 days. They were fucking around. The idea was on the 61st day, they'd been given all that room. It meant that they weren't going to go for a deal, that they were just dragging things along. And when time is of the essence at any given time, they've already got the trigger now. They have the capacity to send it in a ballistic missile, but not an intercontinental ballistic missile, so it's not the U.S.'s problem yet, like North Korea, for example, but it would be a problem for Israel because they're within shooting distance of their conventional warheads. So all they got to do is enrich enough uranium, and in theory, they have all it takes to make a bomb. And I don't know what the window is on the baking of that, whether it's, 25 minutes at 450 degrees or whether it takes 3 months, 6 months, or 90 days, but if they're able to enrich it, they have the trigger, they have the missile, that means they're months, weeks away. And again, whether they are or not is immaterial. You motherfuckers were selling this.
Right? Then we find out it's a year away at earliest, and then it's a decapitation strike. They're trying to have regime change. That just kind of came up over the weekend and saying, oh, well, since they're there, we're there, we have to do it.
Yeah, I don't think that's where they're coming from either. I think this is, again, this sounds like these guys are trying to paint this entire war in as bad a light as possible so that they can excuse themselves from being against it from the very beginning, no matter what the outcome is. Because they just will sound cautious in the end. Or they will use a reality that happened years ago. And I'll give you an example. What if you're saying, look, we cannot be involved in a civil war in another country, because civil wars never work out well. Look what happened in the United States. Black people can vote now. Do you understand? Like, that's their reasoning. That's the reasoning.
Understand, they said this is unilateral, we're doing our own, but understanding that they needed American air assets on the defense to protect themselves. And this is why the Arleigh Burke were rushed in, and this is why American air defense assets have been used nonstop. Now they're talking about, oh, by the way, we really can't take out Fedora. We can't take out the hidden mountainous second part of this. We need American combat sorties. We need American tankers to refuel us. We need the bunker busting bombs, and we need assets. This thing.
No, you don't. Hold on. Let me. Can I show you something? Again. All right. There is a point to which, let me see if I can open this on a page where I can show you this. We'll go to here. This guy is supposed to be, former Navy guy, was supposed to be like an intel guy for Trump, kind of gave the inside story on all this. And he was, he's an expert in this circumstance when you're dealing with how, they would manage to get to these bombs if they indeed could, right? Okay. Let's see. I know I saw it earlier today, and I'm going to draw this in because it's super fun. the series. Well, let's see, 18 Warthog proxies. There we go. This is
For centuries.
Okay, whatever. This is stupid. Okay, so let's see if I can show you. Yeah. Talking about these bombs. Let me see if I can show. Okay, yeah. So this is a guy, a channel called Task and Purpose. Fairly decent takedown of some of these things on a more material way. The guy was saw action and covers these things or whatever, but he's talking about the bunker busters in this. Let me show you something.
Its destructive force against hardened targets. It's a satellite-guided bomb, which means that it can be dropped within 5 meters of your point of aim. So these can basically be stacked on top of each other like darts. The big difference here...
Right, and so the first bunker buster would go in, essentially these Moabs would go in there, and then poof, and then poof, and then poof. How can't you be happy these two can worship their God in their own way? Oh yeah, no. I'm allowed to make fun of anything that I find culturally hilarious, and anybody from another culture is allowed to make fun of things that I enjoy and find it hilarious if it looks weird to them. I got news for you. That is one of the most universally accepted things in humanity. All right, again, like Top Gun Maverick, exactly.
Is small enough to be carried by the larger fleet of F-15EX.
Now, Israel has F-15s. They also have F-35s. They can carry these bombs. They don't have to fucking get like the U.S. to fly them in. Their pilots can handle it. If we gave them these fucking things, they could fire them themselves. We don't have to be involved. We don't have to have our planes in the air. We don't have to be over this. I'm telling you.
Aircraft. To give you an idea of how important the U.S. government thinks this capability is, the contract is worth up to $7 billion potentially. According to open source intelligence estimates, as many as 15,000 of Iran's rocket force members may be in these underground tunnels. The tunnel also provides safe storage for many of their fighter jets. According to the Center for Strategic and International
Not that many, but
Studies, if the United States attacked Iran's ballistic missile network and nuclear facilities, it would require at least 16 F-18s, 10 B-2 bombers, carrying 30,000 pounds of massive ordnance penetrator bombs just for preliminary shaping operations. How stable these are?
Again, which is not that many. That's, it's a few dozen of those missiles because they're 2,000 to 5,000 apiece.
Underground bases are, and whether they would collapse or not from a bombing isn't known. These Iranian missile bases were specifically designed to negate the powers and strategies and advantages that the United States military used against their neighbors in Iraq. Air power and special forces teams were used by the United States to hunt.
This is the difference. This is where people on the ground would attack these bases, laser them. The Mossad's already there, so they would just Israel would use their own guys. We don't have to put anybody in there. But they would also follow, you make a hole and then they follow in behind it. They would get through there. He did say penetrator, right? That's true.
Iraq's mobile
Yeah, please like the show if you would. Hit the like while you're at it.
Scud missile launchers. During the Gulf War, Delta Force was deployed on the ground on Scud hunting missions to specifically target Iraq's missiles. They were inserted by helicopters, Humvees, and motorcycles. Their mission was to ambush Scud missiles and call in airstrikes on the launchers. Iraq had some success in
There's some major pucker factor when you're doing that kind of stuff. Sorry, B-52 is required. The lead ones he's talking about, the big bunker busters, the Moab are, but the ones he's talking about can be carried on the F-15, and you can do multiples of them. So the idea is that you don't need the big bomb. You can give them the smaller ones, and then they could just hit them with multiple. So instead of one big these things where you need a B-52, you can use the smaller ones and the regular planes that Israel has already been flying can hit the same hole 5 times, which, that's your idea of a good time.
Moving their launches around by night, but they were vulnerable to discovery and air attack during the day. Iran paid close attention to all of this happening on the tactical level next door. The lesson here was clear to anyone watching. Iraq had nowhere to effectively hide their missile launchers. So we can see that a lot of the key design features of their...
Yeah, so this is the interior of these tunnels, these areas that the Iranians have dug. So again, this is not a mystery. And Iran specifically said did I say Israel or Iran? Iran dug these tunnels and they put all this stuff in there. But this is also where they enrich their uranium, and they say it. It's not like Saddam Hussein. It's very different. Yeah. So there you go. So we wouldn't need to give them the B-52s, right? Shaq. I know, I get it. But an F-47 carry them? No, because they don't exist yet. But F-47, thanks for bringing it up. Hashtag F-47.
Heavily guarded mountain.
Sorry, here we go. Back to this dipshit.
Changes all the time. When Tulsi Gabbard's still out there, as the last thing publicly said by a senior intelligence official, she said it in March. They don't have a program. They haven't had a program.
Yeah, but she turned. We're at the tail end of this, and sorry about the low volume on that one, but that's the way they posted it.